I'm trying to check and make sure everything look all right. Hold on. Are you live?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's public, right?
Mm-hmm. Should be public. Did you change it back?
You know, it should stay the same. Like it shouldn't. It should go back to public. It's not like the other setting. I'm trying to get to your page. Hold
Here I am.
on. Okay.
It says I'm live.
Okay.
One person's watching. Well, that could just be me.
You probably said.
That could just be me.
Yep, it is just you.
That could just be me.
Okay. Yep, it is just you.
That could just.
All right. Let me tell people you're here first before I do
There's
anything.
3 people watching. 1 thumbs up.
Okay. I'll get to the music in a minute. Actually, I don't have Spotify on my phone.
Oh, you
I
don't?
took it out because it's messing my stuff up. You might have to play it from your phone and then switch it back over or your iPad.
I got it right here. There's 2 people watching. Let's see who's all watching. Hey, John, what's up, gang?
Hey John, what's up, gang? Hey John, what's up, gang? Hey
Man.
John, what's up, gang? Hey John, what's up,
Dang.
gang?
Sorry, y'all. You know me.
What are you going to play the music from?
My phone.
You know this whole thing in China is huge, right?
Yeah, it's big, man. China thing's big.
No, 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 no. That cruise ship I was telling you about.
Is that our cruise ship?
No,
Uh,
it might affect the 14th. Like the city is shutting down. The coronavirus.
affect what city?
China.
But what city?
Well, so just period. Like it's spreading throughout China.
Right.
So I don't know if you've been watching the news, but the
No.
cases is increasing. So they're shutting down parts of China. I don't know. But
Texas area homeowners,
what
if
I'm
you
saying
have
to you in general, like even Hope has been I've been texting back and forth too
Uh
because it could affect us. It could affect the investment. If China's not function right, like if our government, like on 9/11,
huh.
stock market shut down. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like it buckled the economy for on those days. So you see how big like this coronavirus thing is spreading.
Right. Right. Right.
So
Like SARS.
it's worse than SARS. There's more people that's died from coronavirus now than SARS.
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. This could affect it.
It could.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about the coronavirus. We're going to talk a lot about a lot of things. Um, as soon as we hit 100 people, we're going to play the theme music, though, because that's what we do. We talk about events and we talk about the things that are crucial to the event. And you know what else we do? We make sure that we understand how it affects you, I, and the investment, right? That's what we do.
Okay, good. This big looks good. It looks very good.
We got 91 people. Last time I left you with those bombs. You guys showed up and showed out. Gang, gang! 700 likes on the last video. Man, I can't stress it enough, man. Today has been an emotional day. Good evening, everybody. I think people have to realize that you know what? Life is short. Love your loved ones. Understand. Oh, whoa, whoa. What are you doing? Whoa, 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 whoa.
What happened?
Don't touch the camera.
I'm trying to. Ooh, ooh.
You're messing with my set.
No.
Bringing the bombs in here. Don't touch my set.
Knock it on. Don't be an extra. I can let you in dating. Film.
No, come on, sit down.
Stop tripping.
Stop touching the cameras.
No, I'm trying to get good angles on you so you don't look so you don't have shadows, mister.
What shadow?
You don't see them. I'm watching. I'm watching. You don't see it in here. I'm watching here.
Well, the shadow you
That's
create.
why I'm production. Excuse me. Handle the music. Before I give you some coronavirus. Give you the April BB virus. Bang, bang!
You guys, let's get ready for some bombs and listen to the sweetest sounds 122 people ever heard. Let me get those likes. I got some bombs to bring. I also got a new perspective to bring. Something nobody's ever talked about. You want to keep these shows going? 700 likes is the benchmark. Bring it now.
News too late. We're gonna play half of it though. I'm gonna give you guys what you want.
Too late. Hey y'all, welcome back, man. Welcome back. Let's talk about a few things. First of all, let's talk about where we are with this investment. Woo! The sweetest sound I ever heard. I think a lot of people in this investment that have been in this investment for a long time have been too fully vested in the concept that the United States and the coalition forces need to stay inside of Iraq. I think people have to realize that the United States leaving Iraq is a way for you, me, and everybody to get paid. I am starting to love to see Russia invest in Iraq. I'm starting to love to see China invest in Iraq. I am starting to love to see all of these big time countries invest in Iraq and not the country of the USA lose millions of dollars a day in the auctions in Iraq. And that is truly making me happy. I think people got to understand that so goes the United States coalition forces in Iraq, so goes the auction. It's common sense, kids. If the United States leaves Iraq, they got to pay you for the embassy. They got to pay you for those Air Force bases. And guess what? Those auctions stop. Those auctions are what are artificially propping up the whole economy of Iraq. And guess what? The day those auctions stop is the day they've got to kick in their own currency. Now, they can't find a new bank to hold on to their oil revenues, so you don't have to run fear that Iran is going to run roughshod over them or steal all their coffers right away. You've got to realize this. The United States and the USA coalition forces leaving Iraq could very well be the very best thing to ever happen to the investment of all time. A lot of people aren't thinking like this. A lot of people are thinking to the fact that, you know what, we got to stay there, protect the investment, which is oil. You know what? Let Iraq have their sovereignty. Let Iraq have their independence. Let us take our proverbial hand off the child's back and let these people become the country they deserve to be. And guess what? Let us bring our troops home. And guess what? Let them pay us for our time, our blood, our sweat, our tears. And guess what?
What?
Reinstate their damn currency, because that's the only way they can pay us off for being there for the last 15 years and allowing them to become independent. I told you there's only one of two scenarios that can happen in Iraq as of right now. Somebody showing me love? Who is it?
Paul Marion.
Paul Marion, shout out, Paul. Thank you.
From Janelle and him.
From Janelle and him. Thank you, Paul. I've got this whole script out thing written, but I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent for a moment. People got to realize that being inside of Iraq as the United States coalition forces is the worst thing for you, me, everybody that's anybody is invested inside of this investment could happen. We want Iraq to expel us from their country, because now the child is now ready to become an adult. They're now ready for somebody or that person or that entity to become truly sovereign. They can't be sovereign with us propping up their economy. And as long as we are there, the United States, we are propping up their economy through the auction. Once the auction stops, so goes the economy. Thus forcing Iraq into trade with their own currency. And if they're forced to use their own currency, their currency has to have a value. Internationally speaking, forget at this point what a nominal value would be, but the currency would have to hold a value, because without a value, they couldn't trade it. That means reinstatement, and that's goal. That's end game. And if you really want to look at it from a really like infrastructure point of view, you got to look at it from like, well, what are they doing to build infrastructure inside their company and their country? And if their country's building true infrastructure, you'd see more entities like fiber optics, them growing, them laying cable, and them growing them abilities to have 5G, 4G, 3G, whatever G, internet access to optimize their banking system, to optimize the speed in which investors can put money in the country and take money out of the country. Question?
So when President Obama was moving soldiers out, was that just peacekeeping force? Was that a good thing?
That was Obama's way of basically saying to Iraq, I'm done with you. It's not that we were done with Iraq or we were trying to help Iraq. See, Iraq didn't ask for help at that point. Iraq basically said, hey, look, what's going on? And we just abandoned them, right? Mm-hmm. Now Iraq has stood up, raised their hand and said, leave us alone. We're done. We don't want you here. Okay, you don't want us here? Okay. We don't want to be here. Just pay me. Pay me for what I've done. Like South Korea does, like Saudi Arabia does, like other countries do for protection. You know how you have a bully and you go pay another bully to protect you from them? Yeah. You might give them bubble gum or your lunch or something. Well, you know what? We're a bigger bully than Iran. And you know what? If we're going to leave you and make you successible to Iran, to that influence. Now, people are going to tell me that Alawi's not going to allow that to happen. Alawi's for the people. And Alawi's one of those persons that's sitting back and he's having meetings with the demonstrators. He's picking his cabinet without any involvement of the GOI. And He's doing all this in secrecy. His cabinet will not be announced until, basically this Sunday, and no one will know, and God bless him for doing it. But the number one mandate for him being able to do that is, guess what?
What?
Expulsion of the United States and the coalition forces. And people got to talk about that. It's not President Trump having his involvement in this currency. President Trump has no involvement in this currency. Say what you want. He's done the reason why President Trump is crucial to this investment, as well as so many investments that you and I share in, and that you and I are going to be a benefit from in the near future, is he set the stage for improvement. He crippled an organization that not only was dinosaur, but it was antiquated. He took it apart diplomatically. And guess what else he did?
What?
He put in place enforcement of a new infrastructure with self-policement that allows the world now to have trade on an even playing field that not only can you and I benefit from, but we benefit from on starting from February 14th. Now, you got to understand that that does not in any way signify the date of change. I am not here telling you today that February 14th a rate's going to change. But I'm here to tell you that a rate couldn't change at all until February 14th for the Vietnamese Dong, Malaysia, Singapore, or the other countries that I've told you about before. Remember, policy, laws, trade, enforcement. One without any of those things is nothing. Okay? I could write all the laws. I could have all the memorandums of understanding that I want. But until I have a way to enforce that memorandum of understanding, it's nothing but words. And people got to realize that. And I see all these people either loving Alawi or not loving Alawi, but I'm here to tell you this. You should hold Alawi to the same standards that you held President Trump to. Let him get in office, sign his cabinet, swear in his special grades, make fundamental changes. And those fundamental changes have to start with, in my opinion, the very first thing he'll have to enact is the HCL. Because the people need money. They don't have any money. He'll have to make the militias stand down. You already saw where Sauter disbanded the blue hats. Sauter basically took the blue hats and told them, take your hats off. I'm done. I'm not a blue hat no more. Sauter will probably be tried for international criminal international criminal ties. Sauter, the devil. Everybody said Maliki. I kept telling you, Maliki's a pet kitten compared to Sauter. The devil in a blue hat. I got 266 people and only 100 likes. If I don't get at least 200 likes, I'm shutting this thing off. I'm dead serious. I could be on Patreon right now. I'd have 270 likes on Patreon. Why am I even sitting here talking if I don't have 270 people, if I don't have 270 likes? I'm dead serious. You want perspective? All I ask is likes. I don't ask for much.
Death toll jumps.
Now, keep them likes coming. Yeah, dead serious. Who put this together? I'm the glue. And I like you too. You got to think about this from a perspective of being pragmatic, not from a perspective of having dinar goggles. Kind of like beer goggles. You know, when you're at a younger age and you're sitting at that bar being man or woman, and you're feeling of that age where you're like, dang, everybody looks good after a few beers. That's dinar goggles. You're looking for any and everything that looks good. And that's why so many people listen to everything. They listen to everything because after a while and you're desperate, everything sounds good. But you know what? I'm here to tell you, everything ain't good. You've got to think about this from the scenario of this. One, you see the U.S. troops leaving. The company out of Anchorage, Alaska is going back. Troops are going back that we just saw from deployment out of another article. Why are the troops going back home? Because they told us to go home. Why are they going home? Because Iraq has truly a plan to either repay the United States government for the 15 years of laying down its blood, its kinship, its heart and soul into your country. And guess what else is going to go? Your little money to prop up your little stupid country, you idiots. Not you guys. I'm talking about Iraq. So goes the United States. So goes your money for the auctions. Come on, man. Can I get the 200 likes at least for this? You ain't got no auction money. You ain't got no economy. That's the way Iraq works. You can forget the news for a minute and we could just talk about being simply logical. The other thing you got to think about with Iraq, and I'm being completely honest, is they're going to have to privatize some of their energy commodities to make that country efficient, such as electricity, such as water. Those will not be ministries to be raped and pillaged. Those will become private equities that will be bought and sold over the ISX. That's the only true way that that country can survive. Look at Russia. Look at any of these other countries that have huge stock exchanges. They privatize their energy markets or part of them, and they fuel their country. Saudi Arabia. Last year, Russia stock market made $600 billion. But they also have a superior fiber optic type of environment. Efficiency. That's what Iraq lacks. That's why certain things have to change within the countryside, especially the Ministry of Electricity, especially the Ministry of Oil. I ain't even picked up my iPad once here. I don't know if I should just keep going. Am I at 188 likes? I need 200 likes. I need you other 20 people to get off your duff and hit the like button. Yeah, I heard Trump's only going to give them about 45 days for Iranian gas. Think about the squeeze play that's going on. So now all of a sudden you got Honeywell sitting there in a contract situation that's with Iraq, and they're supposed to optimize the gas situation in northern Iraq. You got the troops supposedly leaving Iraq. Who's going to guard the oil fields? The United Nations is going to have to step in, or NATO. Now, one of those countries, simply put, is going to be the Americans. Because, why? We know the landscape. We know who the players are. We've already got the context, the asset set. They change uniforms. And this is not unheard of. This is not a crazy mindset here. Think about it. They go, they change uniforms. Those troops are reassessed. They're debriefed. They're rebriefed and put them into place. Because as those gas fields are being reassessed and now being harvested to make them efficient, now you've cured not only the power plant issue with electricity into why you need Iran, now you can power your own country as well as power the electrical grid for your own country as well as the oil field. Dude, this is not, I could quarterback this from sitting right here. I could run Iraq from Houston, Texas. And I'm not trying to be pompous or to be an ass. I'm trying to tell you guys that you see these things happening right now in front of your very eyes. I could do this show 50 times and tell it to you different ways because you know why? This has to happen this way. Now, if this is the play and you see the troops leaving, they have to pay you off. It's kind of like a lawsuit, and they want to make you go away. If you see questions and I'm on this tyrant, just ask. Okay? Are you on the site?
Yeah, I'm looking at the comments. They say they appreciate you, and they're people are encouraging the life. You want me to read it to you? Dear
Yeah.
Mr. B, I've been following you on here for 3 to 4 months, and I appreciate the time and energy you put into bringing this information to us. Thank you and keep.
And I do this for you. You guys. You. I think you guys got to understand that I do it for you. I love doing it just for you. I will show up 3 times a week again just for you.
Mr. B, I saw that Trump is. Oh, you read that.
Say it again, though. I didn't hear it.
Mark. Mr. B, I saw that Trump is only giving them 45 days this time with being able to purchase gas from Iran.
Yeah, because there's a deal in place with Honeywell. Honeywell's had a deal in place. Every time that Iran is in position to put a squeeze in Iraq, the United States steps in and gives Iraq a position to free themselves from Iran. And if this new PM is true to his word, if he seats his cabinet this week, that leaves him basically what? 42 days or 40 days to say, enact that deal with Honeywell, free me from Iran, and guess what? They weren't going to pay Iran anyway. Truth be told, Iraq's been playing Iran and USA side by side for 15 years.
So they're voting on a PM Sunday, right?
Right, and his cabinet. He's already said, once I bring me, I bring my cabinet. He brings his cabinet, he brings his special grades. So, Ali Iraq, goodbye. New CBI governor, you'll see things change. If this man is true to his word. If he's not true to his word, then you know what? You're going to see excuses, you're going to see setbacks, and you're going to see despair. And you know what? You're also going to see people that subscribe to these and other channels go completely down because they're going to get disheartened. Until I find some more bombs to bring the whole thing back up. Because that's just the way the channels work right now. Until I find that tidbit, nothing happens. And you know what? We'll find it. But you know what's going to happen? They've got to change the cabinet and the special grades when they change that cabinet.
Prime Minister said the budget will be coming straight over to Parliament immediately after he and his cabinet is voted in.
And inside that budget, you're going to see you're going to see the militia forces cut out. You're going to see Article 140, hopefully. You're going to see the HCL. But hopefully you're going to see the militias cut out. Once the militias are cut out of Iraq, you got to understand, if people like Sauter and Maliki and Amiri and all these guys that run these militias, they're getting paid 2 and 3 times. Because they run a militia, they're getting a salary. And because they're in parliament, they're getting a salary. Those things have to stop for you to see actual growth happen. If I'm double dipping, you ain't got to have 50 ghost people working for you. You can have simply a position in parliament and a high position in their militia, and then all of a sudden now you're making so much money, you don't care what happens with inside the country. You've got or want to see the militia forces cut out. You've got or want to see them free from Iranian gas. You've got or want to see them to free us from being on their soil.
Mike says, Mr. B, don't they have to pay Kuwait so they can be recognized?
They're paying that first quarter, first bill inside of the budget. We know that. I showed you that last time right here on this channel. Real facts, real evidence. Kangaroo gang for life. You know how I do this. I'm in it to win it just like the lotto. And you know I don't look at this like lotto. I look at it as a calculated guessing game. Because it's calculated. Everything we've done is calculated. Listen, y'all. If somebody told you you're investing in the Iraqi Dinar that you're a nut, then you tell them to come to this channel. If you've got enough testosterone or enough estrogen inside of your body, call me up on the phone and tell me why it can happen. And I will tell you 555 million reasons why it can. But you know what? I've been sitting here now for a year and damn near 2 months, and not a soul can call me up and tell me why it won't happen.
Prime Minister's speech on Friday, February 25th. Is that when they speak? I guess so.
I don't know.
Could the special grades be done on Sunday also, you think?
Yeah. I am fully expecting him to have his cabinet and his special grades done Sunday. Sunday. I am fully expecting it
Don't
with no problem.
don't they still have to put sanctions on the CBI before anything can change?
Why do I want sanctions on the CBI? That's ludicrous. No, I want sanctions on the people that committed acts against the protesters on Sunday. That's what I want. I want sanctions against Al Sadr, the blue hat on Sunday. That's what I want.
What about the speech Saturday, February 25th? So does that mean the budget will be open in the first quarter? That's from Sammy D.
See, that's the trick. If they amend the budget to in the verbiage that it needs to be, and Alawi supposedly has enough stones, he could open the budget. If he opened the budget, he opened it all that it's a predecessor to him. And if the payment in Kuwait is in that budget in the first quarter, then they are Article 7 compliant. Then he has to open the budget. And if he opens the budget, then guess what? You are international.
So it says March 3rd, 2020, 30 days.
It could be. I mean, I'm not in it for a date. I know a date's coming. I mean, that's like me telling you I'm gonna win the lottery. I already know that. I've got 100 million. Well, 100 million. That's a little overstated, but I've got 100 million reasons why in a safe in my house why I'm going to win the lottery. I already know I'm going to win the lottery. I bought $100 million worth of tickets.
Bethany says Sadr needs to be arrested along with his thugs.
Sadr will be dealt with in the international community. Watch.
Carlos says you got 218 likes.
Shout out Carlos and shout out 218 likes. Now, let's talk about what we got to see infrastructure-wise to make all this happen. First of all, we want to see the banking system do two things. First of all, we want to see the banking system start to adopt the dinar as being the currency that they use in trade and inside of and outside of Iraq from here on out. We don't want to see the Iraqi dinar substituted with the USD. And the reason why you want to see that happen is because if you're using your currency outside of the country, that builds great confidence. And with great confidence, now all of a sudden you can say the currency's international. The reason why they're using USD is because the currency's not international. But once they pay this final payment off and they're Article 7 compliant, at that point they can go ahead and use their own currency. And that will build great confidence. Now, if the currency, let's just say this, for a long time I sat there and told you guys, and since we're talking scenarios, let's talk crazy talk for a minute. 225 likes, 299 people in here. Can we get 250 likes real quick? Just real quick, please. Please. I've got a really crazy scenario for you guys real quick. I want to share it with you. Huh? Here's a crazy scenario for you real quick. If you took Iraq and you see Russia investing inside of the gas industry, you take China and they're investing in the infrastructure of the whole country, meaning the build out. Now you're taking the United States. They're going to be the sole provider for the security in the stock exchange and foreign investment. Us plus the whole global economy. They're going to invest inside of Iraq once they open up the stock exchange. You can, Katie, bar the door for the amount of resource at that point that they're going to have, because now you're going to have more money for infrastructure. You know, you've got one of the largest gold deposits ever outside of Baghdad that people could tap into is if they just had infrastructure to go get it. And this is not something they've got to go deep into. They could simply just go on almost surface level and go tap into gold. Now, could you imagine American companies at that point seeing that Chinese and Russians are over there getting money because of the work they're doing? Over there extracting gold and other things. Now you're starting to see an ecosystem of economy based on certain just tweaks of the investment law. And that's what's coming next. Those are things that all come with the budget. And that's what the budget really truly means. People say, oh man, it's not happening. Man, this thing is happening at lightning speed. But you got to remember, lightning speed to Iraq is like me and Daisy running a 40-yard dash. I'm slow. I don't run that fast.
Daisy run fast. Once the reinstatement happens, how long? Once the reinstatement happens, how long do you think it will take for U.S. banks to allow us to exchange?
Like that.
Instantaneous.
Because once you see it and it's internationally recognized, once it hits the CBI website, it hits the Forex markets, boom, it's done. It's over. You're done. You're at the bank. You can go that very moment and go to the bank. And you don't want to go and tell them, man, I need $40 million. I want to open up an account. I want to put in enough money that I can go find me an account to either put it into a, not to give away all the game, but a CDARS account, a S corporation, or some type of account to help me divert my tax strategy. And I've told you guys this 100 times. You ain't got to worry about my tax strategy. I did this on Patreon a year ago. I told people a long time ago on Patreon a year ago how to divert your tax strategy. You've got to be mindful. I've been prepared. And people out there hate on it. But you know what? It's nothing but solid. And I've seen other people imitate it on this space, but it's all good. And I'm glad that people are imitating a solid platform. I'm glad for that because you know what? It means that the information you're getting is good. Good for us. Good for the community sharing and good information. It's sad that you know what? For too long, it was a closed-minded investment. No, you don't need to move your money from a bank. You need to keep your money in a bank, and you need to diversify your accounts between the markets, between equity, between doors, between investments. You need to take your money and make your money at that point work for yourself. I didn't mean to make this a Patreon call, but if you want me to make it a Patreon call, I need at least 300 likes.
Do you have to see a lot of trades going before the rise of the IQD?
No, you don't have to see a lot of trades before the rise of the IQD. You're seeing a lot of trades because the WTO has been crippled, and now the world's depending on each other to trade with each other, and the world doesn't want to have trade deficits with each other, and that's why you're seeing a lot of trade.
Is the dinar in a better spot than the dong, and why?
The dinar and the dong are in the same spot, to me, in my eyes. Mm-hmm. There's not one above another, and I'll tell you why. The enforcement of the trade agreement goes into effect on Friday. That puts the dong right now on blast. If you want to take the dinar and say, well, dang, if they truly passed the cabinet on Sunday and swear in the new PM and the special grades on Sunday, the dinar is off and running because this PM has got to give the people something. Think about it. I am not above him giving them the HCL without a census. He could truly overpay. You know why? Because oil's tanking. Oil's like at 50. What's oil right now? Do you know what oil's right now?
I don't know what oil is, but I know what my gas was this morning.
It was cheap, wasn't it?
$1.87.
Okay, oil's going down. They've got to do something because these people are not leaving the streets. And on the 11th, the 13th, and I think for some other days, the people said they're going to go out in full force. Can I get 300 likes?
Can I say something real quick?
Sure.
So the 14th is Friday.
Mm-hmm.
China just canceled their what they call a Grand Prix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is in Shanghai of all places because of the coronavirus, right?
Coronavirus.
So, you know, when 9/11 happened, we saw the stock market kind of close. Things slowed down in the United States. Do you feel that with this coronavirus and what's going on in China, that this will slow down things for the trade agreement.
It could, yeah, yeah. For Vietnam, definitely, and for Iraq, definitely, because remember the deal with Iraq is this: they don't necessarily need to bring like laborers from China over to Iraq to build things, because the idea was they had to bring over people that were like engineers, PhDs, give them plans. You had to hire at least 90% Iraqis or 50% Iraqis to run the labor force and the infrastructure. But the main thing for the China trade agreement was basically just the whole people signing the paperwork. So for Vietnam and stuff, I don't really see a big deal. But for Iraq, that could be a kind of a little bit of a setback as far as the reconstruction effort going on that they want to see happen now. Now, that doesn't mean they can't send over plans or architectural drawings or whatever and have the Iraqis, because remember, you're talking about a way youthful population. They're very smart, university educated. These aren't a dumb populace. You know what I'm saying? They're not a third world country. They are very smart, but you're not going to see the recognizable element of the Chinese person in those countries for a while. This is a very bad disease, and it's affecting people globally. And as you saw, like you said earlier, it's got people stopped in ports for stopping ships, cruise ships. It's stopping people in China. It's quarantining people.
The Apple plant
Yeah,
shut down.
yeah. So I mean, I would tell anybody that's involved inside of this investment. I mean, do I see some things could be changed or tweaked? Yes. But that doesn't mean that infrastructure, as far as plans being made, those could still be sent and still things could be done that are feasible that wouldn't stop the investment. I am basically at 41 minutes. I got 4 minutes left. How many likes I got? 259. I didn't get 300 likes. I'm about to shut this off. I'm just joking. I do this now for likes. My Patreon video will be a little bit different. I have a little bit different report to give. I think you guys got to realize something, that I'm not trying to give any discouraging element to anybody. I'm trying to let everybody know that when you see stuff like the troops are leaving Iraq, understand that they either have the consumption or the gumption that we're going to pay off the American populace for what they've done to support our country. Or at this point, you know what we're going to do? We're going to reinstate our currency, pay off our debts, and become sovereign anyway, because we don't want to be dependent on any other country to help run our business. And we've got other countries investing in natural gas and infrastructure, and that's why China's there. They're going to lay cable. You're going to see somebody come through China. They're going to have a big fiber optics company, and they're going to lay all the fiber optics cable that's going to interconnect all the banking system there. And that's going to make their banking and their internet system go through the roof. And so goes a superior internet system, so goes a better banking system, so goes a better Iraq.
What have you heard about the small coins and fields?
Nothing. I mean, you want to talk about Onada? I contacted them. Nothing. They contacted me back, offered me a job.
Mark said oil is at $53 a barrel. Melvin says $51 a barrel.
They can't survive unless it's $55, $56 a barrel. So you guys do the math. They're not in a surplus now. They're now in a decline. So they got to have $55, $56 a barrel to make money inside of their own budget that they set.
Right.
It's a squeeze place, guy. Think about it. Budget's going to squeeze. I mean, the oil's going to squeeze you. Gas is going to squeeze you. Paying off Kuwait's going to squeeze you. You have to have means to pay your bills. The only way you can do that's through a reinstatement at that point. You've got to have money. And you have money, you have means. But you got to take those steps. And the budget, to me, in my opinion, paying off Kuwait is the final steps that we need to see before you can actually see something happen. It's not saying it's going to happen right then and there. I'm saying that when that does happen, Because now you have enforcement. You have law and enforcement. Once you have enforcement, you can see action truly happen. Because what most people can say, well, it's going to happen right there. They're a liar. That's not going to happen right there. It's not instant pudding. But now you have means that it can happen now. It can be true now. That's what I'm here for.
Mr. B, are you seeing similarities happening now with this investment as it did with Kuwait currency revaluating?
Nah. Actually, Kuwait didn't have a corrupt government. Kuwait didn't have a lot of the faults that Iraq has. I'm actually seeing Kuwait and this investment, it's 100% opposite, totally opposite. They have way more currency in circulation than Kuwait did. They have way more gold than Kuwait does. They have way more oil than Kuwait does. This is totally different than Kuwait. And if I was going to compare this to anything, do you know what I would compare it to? Its own entity. The world has never seen what Iraq is going to do. And while the world is here to see it, this is the .com. This is the savings and loan. I hate to say it like this, a boom and bust, but that's what Iraq's going to be, a boom and a bust.
Jug Jones says, none of this is happening without import and export of Iraq's GDP.
Well, their GDP could almost hit 9%. They're already going to hit 7%, so they're up there with the big dogs. So it's going to happen. You know, I did this without any notes today. I can't believe this. I was so excited about doing this. I did it without any notes.
And shout out to Bethany for that article on the coronavirus, too.
Yeah, and shout out to everybody. Bethany, Mark, Mr. Frazier, all the Nancy, Lisa, Susan, everybody that sends me any information on a daily basis. God bless you, and thank you, Mark. Mark, yes. Thank you. Thank you for your efforts. Thank you for doing what you do. And you know what? For everybody that's true to the game, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate everybody. And I just want you guys to understand this. You're close! Wake up!
You're so crazy.
Somebody told me Dong went up parts per million.
It did?
That's what they told me. He said you couldn't buy it for like $80.
I don't know about that. I think, it depends on where you're buying it from. You go to Chase Bank, I think you can still get about a meal for about 40-something bucks.
I'll tell you guys this too.
I'll check.
I'll tell you guys this too. You should join Patreon. We have till April 14th to add monies into 219's of retirement investments. Would love to see it. Sharon, that's an excellent point. April 14th is actually a really, really cool date. April, the month of April, is special to me and April.
April and April.
April. Come on, man. Ask me a tough one.
I've been asking you questions. I'm about to close that door on Daisy down there running amok.
Daisy's running amok.
Muck.
Daisy says she's figured out the whole China trade agreement and she's ready to invest in Singapore.
Daisy's got the coronavirus.
Okay, Bethany said she bought some Dong, 47 per million. Okay, good.
Yeah. Where'd she buy it from? Where'd she say?
Bethany, where'd you buy it from? Daisy ready to get paid, Sammy said. Bet it happens in March. Listen, whether it happens in March or April, it kind of doesn't matter. You got to think, if you knew you were going to be a multi-millionaire in 45 days, would you shut down everything or would you tune in every day to figure out what's going to happen? If it was me, I'd tune in every day. Told Miss BB we kind of had thoughts about doing some other stuff, some different channels. I'm definitely going to do it. I'm going to do some different channels. I'm going to do some fun stuff too. I think life's too short not to have some fun. And I'm definitely going to launch a different channel this year. It's going to be different. Some fun. And I think you guys need to start thinking about your future and don't think about what's going to happen, but what's happening to you right now. Oh, Big Shot, you know I'm doing sneakers with you. You're gonna do a shout out. You know I want to do. You're gonna collab with me, Big Shot. I'm doing the sneakers. You know what? I got my sneakers on.
Oh my.
Yeah, man. You guys should laugh. You should have fun with this. Mr. Brando cooking. Yeah, I'm gonna do lifestyle. I'm gonna do a little bit of everything. Clothing, lifestyle, my habits, everything. I'm gonna do everything. Spoiler alert. Yeah, you're gonna love this channel. It's not gonna be all dinar because all dinar all the time is no fun. Yeah, I'm gonna show you how to live like a billionaire.
Vapor Max.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you how to vape safely. Gonna show you how to, just day to day.
Neo said you're gonna do YouTube on a yacht.
Yeah, I am.
He's not getting a yacht. So if they get the full government in by Sunday, what will we have to look forward to next week?
Budget, investment law, retirement law. I'm trying to think of another one. Investment law, retirement law, budget, and man, if you see those things happen, man, dancing.
Would we see more trade news before we see the value rise?
Dong, yeah. For dong, yeah. For dinar, no.
We've been seeing that already for Dom.
Yeah, you will. Man, the dong, I mean, it's going nuts.
Every time you turn on, there's another article
Nuts.
about him winning.
And that's why I'm wearing a superheroes t-shirt. Because I love, this is superhero stuff. I am happy, Brian. I was in a funk at one point and now I see clearly. CBI government, yes, Melvin, yes. That's my dad's name too. $96 for $2 million at Chase. Shot said, tell Big Shot he got to take care of me with those shoes. Yeah, on my new channel, I'm gonna do shoes. I'm gonna do a lot of stuff. We have fun. But you know what, y'all? It's 52 minutes. I've given you guys, and you've given me 276 likes. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate you guys listening to the news because you know what it is?
Teresa said, do a documentary, a day in the life of Daisy. Daisy sleeps all day.
She's boring. When she's not barking at people. Fighting them. And I want to say thank you. If you want to watch this video 4 or 5 times, you got to look out for the trade.
Are you worried about the CBI governor?
Not at all. He's about to go bye-bye.
I think I answered your question, Neil. Good night, Greg. You ain't got to lie, Greg. No.
I want to tell you guys, it's my Wednesday. Shout out to my Facebook group. I had a phone call that interrupted us today. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it tomorrow too.
Who do you think the CBI next governor going to be?
Me.
Oh my gosh. I'm dead.
They've already contacted me to be CBI governor. I told them I'll think about it.
Sammy asked that question.
I don't know. He won't say. Listen, it could be anybody. This guy is interviewing the protesters, people secretly in cabinet. You guys have a great night. Kick-ass weekend. Check out the thumbnail.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Marcus Luttrell and I met up yesterday. He came by. It was my boss's birthday. He came down. It had been a year since I seen him last. He asked me how my podcast was doing. I told him I watched his podcast. I was a huge fan. Marcus, thank you for watching the show. Huge shout out to Lone Survivor. I love you, dude. Thank you so much for keeping the inspiration going, guys. There's a lot of people that watch my show I don't tell you guys about. But Marcus, thank you so much. And we still survive.
Let's see what happens on the 14th.